I make a podcast episode every single day for 365 days. You will be hated for speaking the truth.
You definitely have like an X-ray goggles on where you can see someone's aura.
A house divided against itself shall not stand. Matthew chapter 12, verse 25.
If you want to make something of yourself, forget your political beliefs.
Because different believers experience God in different ways, different non-believers need different explanations to see God as real. Things that make you angry suck you in.
Satan's plan fails, right? And God's plan prevails.
So yes, it's the summer. I get to show off my arsenal a little bit, my clothing, my wardrobe, rather than just having the same old sweaters. I get to kind of show what other shirts in my collection I have. So that's going to be fun, and that's going to be cool. I'm wearing the Atleti jersey today. Today is going to be an episode of me kind of giving a very early halfway through the year review, let's say. It's June 6th at the time of recording. I imagine at the time of posting as well. And we're almost halfway through the year. We're almost halfway through the year 2026. We're not there quite yet, but honestly, I think now is a good time because in my life personally, I'm in a very reflective moment, just kind of thinking a lot about the things that have happened this year, that have happened in my life overall so far, like where I'm at in terms of my own personal development and growth and all that stuff. So I think it's a good time to kind of just take a step back, take a moment, and just reflect on the year. So I have a couple of questions, basically just a couple questions for you to reflect on in terms of how your year has gone so far, what you've done in the year so far. So the first question is very simple. If you made a resolution, a New Year's resolution, obviously I talked about it back then when New Year's came around, how kind of New Year's resolutions don't really work, right? But if you made a New Year's resolution for the year 2026, did you follow through on it so far? Have you followed through on it? Or are you still kind of doing the same stuff in the same bad patterns? Have you actually made that change or at least tried your best to move in that direction? So ask yourself that question. The midway point of the year is actually like the perfect point to kind of ask yourself these questions, right? Because you're halfway through the year. You don't want to wait till December to do the new Year's resolutions because it's just a question of what are you doing, right? It's like you're wasting 6 months of potential time to make improvements in your life. So ask yourself that question first and foremost. The things that you said you were going to do this year, the changes you were going to make, did you make them? Have you made them so far? And if the answer is no, that's okay, right? It's like you have 6 more months to do better for the rest of this year, for the second half of this year, to actually make some of the changes that you want to make in your life. Then you also want to ask yourself the question, how have you felt during the year? How has the year been so far for you? What would you rate your year so far on a scale of 1 to 10? How would you rate your own output, your own productivity, your own work that you put in on a scale of 1 to 10? How would you rate circumstances on a scale of 1 to 10? How would you rate it so far? And how would you perhaps make that judgment for yourself? For me personally, what I would say to that is my year on a scale of 1 to 10 has probably been like a 4. I'm be honest. There's been some good. It's not like so bad, but it's been a lot of adjustment period that I've been having to go through in my life personally. And I'm sure you've seen it in some of the rhetoric, some of the kind of moods I've been portraying in certain episodes. For you, you should ask yourself these questions as well, right? How was your own output? How were just circumstances that you were dealing with? For me, what I personally reflect on is what I said I would do at the start of the year, I have done. I went very early on in the year, did a professional trial, went to Spain, tried my best. It didn't work out the way I really wanted it to. So, of course, now I'm here, the World Cup starting. I really wanted to be at the World Cup, but now I'm going to have to accept the fact that it's not going to happen. And, of course, for me, I look at it okay, I went, I did a trial. I trained hard to get to it. I was ready when I got there physically. I was ready to go. I did my part on that in that regard. And then I worked the job, made some money, saved some stuff up a couple months, and that was good. So I could look at my year so far from a long-term perspective and actually say, hey, it actually hasn't been that bad. But the day-to-day has been pretty slow. It's been slow. It's been a drag. A lot of individual days have been depressing. I've been feeling a lot of personal shame for myself. I feel like I can do better. I can put more effort into things that I haven't really been doing, and I think about my faith, my relationship with God, and how I am trying to do His will, and how very much I fail. And this year, how many times I have constantly just wasted days because of my own feelings, because of my own my own bad habits, let's say. So I can look at my year from so far from like a long perspective and say actually it's been pretty good. It's been pretty good. I've gone done kind of the stuff I wanted to get done. But like the day to day has been very slow. So that's why for me I'd give it a 4. For you, I hope that yours is not a 4, that it can be a little bit better. But yes, be grateful for the things that you have regardless, and just keep grinding, keep trying to overcome it. And again, remember that there's still the whole second half of the year and then some, because we're not even at technically the halfway point just yet. I'm just kind of doing this a little bit extra earlier than normal. So ask yourself that question. Truly, like, be honest with yourself. Rate it, scale of 1 to 10. And, New Year's resolutions, I think, are kind of crap anyways. I know people in my life that made New Year's resolutions and have kind of basically completely forgotten about them. But what a halfway year reflection, actually, what you should do is like a quarterly reflection every 3 months of the year. At the end of the month, reflect and write down some stuff that you did well, some stuff that you could improve, some goals, some plans, some ideas going into the next quarter. That's probably a good way to kind of break up your year. But obviously, if you don't do that, watching this episode could be a good way for you to kind of get into that mindset that it's like the halfway point. It's a good time to reflect. You don't want to wait till the end of the year to make promises and resolutions and all that stuff, because the best time to start is right now. It truly is. So think about the things that you want to do, strategies that you need to change to improve yourself, and start them now. You can do it now. Like, you're not chained and binded to following the exact routines and the exact schedules of other people. The other people that make New Year's resolutions and just fail to do them and forget about them until the next year they do their resolutions. They don't even think about what they're doing during the year, and they waste years of their life. That's their problem. For you, you don't have to kind of be subject to that. You can absolutely take time, reflect, think about what you need to do better, and start implementing some of those changes right now. It'll be different for everybody. It will be different for absolutely everybody, but a quarterly review of the year and how it's going is really good. Like when I was kind of thinking at the end of March, right? At the end of March was probably even worse because I was in the middle of working my job. I was really in a tough moment, and I was looking at the first quarter kind of very, very badly. Like I was in a very, very dark moment back then. But now that I'm kind of getting to the halfway point, I think for me it's slowly starting to get better. I would still be rational and say that my year out of 10 is a 4 so far. It hasn't been the best, I'm gonna be honest. But like the best thing you can do is take some time and ask yourself what you need to do better to improve this year and to win more and more days of the year to have a good second half of the year. You can have a terrible first half and then come storming back and have an amazing second half. You can have one bad month and then come storming back and have another good month and have a good month, right? It's possible, right? A bad season is just a bad season, right? It doesn't have to be something that sticks with you, right? The more good days you can have in a bad season, it turns that bad season into a better season. So the only way you can kind of figure that out is by sitting there, taking the time, reflecting, being honest with yourself, where you can improve, where you can do better, and things that you can kind of push towards that will maybe make a difference to make this year a better year. I feel like I'm not the only one that has had a very slow 2026 so far. I'm certainly not the only one, right? So what you can do, and it's up to you to just take that time, ask yourself some of these important questions, what you can do better in, and how you can make the most of your time and a better use of your time throughout your days, throughout the second half of this year, to make it truly as good as possible, right? Like I'm giving my own take because this is the things I'm going through, the things I'm dealing with. Like I look at my thing, and I'm gonna be honest. Like yesterday, after I was going and playing soccer in like the fan zone area that Toronto is is putting up, and I was hyping it up like a couple weeks ago. But like I was there, and I guess I get so competitive when I'm playing that when I lose or when I like make a mistake, I don't do something well, I kind of am harder on myself. So I was literally walking back, and I was literally just thinking about my life and like where I've gone, and how I wanted to make it pro and now I'm not there anymore, and yes, it was a pretty negative mode to be in, but it kind of made me realize, yes, I have to do better. I'm not I like there's more output I need to be giving. Like there's more I can be doing that I'm not doing. Because I guess I'm just fearful of things. I guess I just fall into temptations and laziness and all these types of things that ruin me and they ruin so many other people. It took a little bit of like me being very angry at myself and at a situation to get myself in a better headspace to realize, oh, I have to do this thing better. I have to do this thing better. You might need some of that yourself as well. I'm not saying you have to get angry, but you definitely need some deep reflection. Be like, okay, where are you actually going wrong? And that brutal honesty, and sometimes it leads to anger. It's good for you at times. It actually helps you realize, oh, you have to do better. Like for me, I need to wake up earlier. Like this whole week, I woke up late every day this week, and I'm like, it's not helping. It's not helping anything that I'm doing. Right? I need to wake up earlier. I need to be more diligent with studying, with courses, getting certifications so I can be a coach, so I can be a personal trainer, these types of things. And yeah, even if I'm not sure if that's exactly the path I want to go on, being disciplined and efficient with these things will give me some sort of a pathway, right? And I've not really been able to do that in recent times. I've been sitting here kind of just wallowing away, right? So I look at those things and it's made me realize, okay, yes, let's take the time, let's sit there, let's reflect, let's be honest, and let's make some changes. Let's make some changes. And this morning I was thinking about things that I could genuinely change and do differently to potentially make something happen, build a little bit of momentum for myself. That's the type of thing that you got to do as well. Just sit there, reflect, and think of things. Think of things that maybe you don't want to do, things you wouldn't have thought of doing before, but you know is probably better for you in the long run. Try them out, right? Try them out. You're not subject to the exact same lifestyle your whole life, right? You can change things. It is very possible. I know there's always like that little bit of friction when you're trying to change your habits, build new things. Of course, that's like the natural way we do it. But if you have faith, you trust in God, you let God affect you in many great ways, ask God for strength, that will definitely help you when it comes to making the changes that you know you need to make. And when it also comes to just taking action, if you kind of just think outside the box a little bit, take that time, sit there, reflect, and then you can actually apply those changes to your life. That will help you move forward, and that will help you make this second half of the year that much better. Because if the first half of the year for you wasn't that great, well, you only got yourself to blame. That's the ultimate truth. It's unfortunate. It's a sad reality, but that is the truth. You have the power to take much more action, and it is absolutely true. I think that is the philosophy that I go by. That at the end of it all, you have to control what you can control. You can't control the circumstances that happened to you that maybe made this year bad, the things that happened, situations to other people, how other people might have made certain situations worse for you. You can only control what you can control. You can control your own reaction to things. You can control your own output, your own effort that you put to things. And that is what you can use going forward, not anything else that happens. Like, unfortunately, circumstance, it's like that, right? My circumstance is I didn't make it pro because, well, I don't think the trial was actually that good. I don't think it was actually that, like, it did, like, I don't think I actually had a chance from the start, really, is what I'm saying. So I'm thinking I'm just wasted a lot of money, blown the money just doing that, right? And when it comes to the work, of course, the situation surrounding the work wasn't very great. Waking up super early in the morning, inconsistencies, people that I worked with that I really hated, and it was just not very good for me. But what I could have controlled was my own reaction to those things. What I could have controlled was my own output, my own consistency, like my sleep schedule during my working hours, which is like it was all over the place and it made everything all the more worse. And when you're tired like that, it's not good. So I look at that and I look at those things, and partially those things that kind of made this year as bad as it's been so far. A lot of it's my fault, and a lot of it is something that if I were to make good changes to improve, I would do better, and I can make this year better. You have to go at that and attack this kind of reflection, this period, this next month with those types of ideas that you can do better. And if you do better in one aspect or in a couple of aspects, it will make the second half of the year that much better. We all have that thing that we want. We all have that thing that we truly want internally us to change and do better and improve in. For a lot of people, it's their weight, or like they want to be consistent in the gym, or they want to fix their eating habits, they want to fix their sleep, they want to remove a vice, whether it is alcohol, whether it's like some drugs, some smoking, some porn, whatever it is. They want to get rid of a vice. They want to be in a relationship or something like that. They want to make a little bit more money. They want to get a job, work, and make money, save the money up. They want to do some fun things. We all have like different goals and different things that we want to do, but a lot of us really just fail to follow through. And that's why New Year's resolutions are so ineffective, because we fail to follow through on it. But the more you actually sit there and think and reflect, and you're not just thinking about what you're going to do at one time during the whole year, if you're thinking every single day about what you can do to win the day, to improve, and to just make those changes to do better, it will make your life a lot more fruitful in the long run. It will just make things a lot smoother, a lot easier. And yeah, circumstances will happen. Things will happen that make the year worse, that make your days worse. But I guess that's life. And it's about how you react to it. And it's about what you can control to overcome those situations with your own power and your own ability, rather than just sitting there wallowing, falling deeper and deeper into your shell, into your depression, into all of this negative stuff that really is just going to destroy you slowly and just kill your energy and your motivation slowly. And instead of doing that, to actually strive to do better. Sometimes, and I'm going to end this little thing with this point, sometimes you can over-reflect, you can overthink, you can overwork, you can optimize for self-improvement so much that it ends up not actually helping you. You need to find that balance. I think a lot of people need a little bit more reflection in their life, a little bit more realization that they can be doing better in some way. And I think that's the truth. I think a lot more people than not need that. But if you are the type of person that is very internal and very reflective on things, maybe you actually probably need to take a step back a little bit, not be so hard on yourself, and just try and make some smaller changes to improve, but also not let that be like everything, right? It's like, oh, if you're unable to wake up early in the morning because you're late, because you turn your alarm off or whatever, you can't be that hard on yourself, because that's going to make the day even worse. And I speak from experience, because I'm very, very guilty of that type of thing. Like, I just make my own life even worse because I'm hard on myself when I make mistakes. But the point is, you will make mistakes and you will be imperfect, and that is the exact point. That if you continue to strive, you continue to have faith, and you continue to keep moving forward, you will overcome those things you're dealing with, truly. But yes, you need some reflection, but you can't fall into that trap of being overly shameful of yourself, overly self-deprecating, and all of these types of things, because that's a very big trap you can get into. Reflect impartially and logically and find ways to do better for the second half of this year. Ask yourself the important questions. Ask yourself what you want to do to improve and what you're willing to do to get there. And use this reflective time to actually take action and make those changes to improve. But don't fall into the trap of just being overly hateful of yourself type of thing, which I personally fall into at times, and I know just how bad and how much worse it can make a bad situation if you're just much more harder on yourself. So give yourself a little bit of grace. You're able to do that. You're allowed to let go a little bit. Give yourself a little bit of grace, but understand that you can move forward, and there is always somewhere you can improve. There's always something you can control, and it is your own attitude to things. It's your own action that you take to things, and that is what you have to look for when you're going into the second half of the year to make it at least a little bit better. So if your year wasn't a good year so far, don't worry. There's still over 6 months to go. So you need to take that action, and you need to make those changes. Otherwise, of course, you will look back at the end of the year and you won't be so happy with the way it's gone. And the truth is, a lot of it will be your fault. So don't let that be the case. Reflect, improve, and try your best to make those changes in whatever capacity you can make them. So that's what I got to say. That was my piece for today. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you for being here. Do that reflection, man. It'll be good for you. It'll make you kind of have an idea as to what you can do going forward. It will give you a little bit more peace, because it can give you a little more purpose, a little more drive, a goal to go and achieve perhaps with the second half of the year. Truly, I invite you to go and reflect on your year so far and what you're planning to do going forward. And I think it really will help you do better. So thank you for watching. I appreciate you for being here. Like the video, subscribe on YouTube, follow on Spotify if you haven't yet. Leave a comment, let me know what you think. Let me know what you're going to change in your life for this second half of 2026 to make it as good as it can possibly be for you. And, well, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you truly do make that change. That's all I got to say for today. Thank you for being here. Continue to glorify God every day throughout your life. And as always, I'll see you tomorrow for the next episode.